Welcome. Welcome to my winter wonderland. I'm going to take a break from working outside. Yes, I know that we're not open to the public, but you know what? I still like to maintain the place. If trees fall onto trails, clear them off. Maybe for my own personal use. Maybe it's just built into my being that I must maintain. I must maintain. Somewhat nippy, but the fire's taken the edge off of it. I'm going to brag. I'm going to make one of these videos that's all about, look at me, look at what I have. First of all, you might be admiring this fine hat. It's actually full leather with the sheep fuzz in there. This is a full leather hat. And I admit it, I bought it on eBay. And I admit that it's not made in the US. It's actually made in Turkey. And so if you're a cold climate kind of a person and you're looking for that beautiful, this is nice. Actual fur, not fun fur here, not faux leather, but real stuff. If you're looking for a trooper's hat and you're not, like me, able to pay gobs and gobs of money, look up, I think it's called the 6-color leather hat or something like that, but you can find it. Fur trooper's hat on eBay, 27 bucks. 27 bucks. So that was a good buy. And I'm also looking forward to getting it's a vintage. That means stuff that we old people bought new that we still have. A vintage American Jack, that's the brand, American Jack, coat. Red buffalo plaid, you know, with the nice warm fleecy lining. Getting the zipper replaced on it. Took it to a tailor. It's going to cost $42 to get a new zipper on that thing. $2, is it? Yeah, $2 an inch of zipper. But it's a wonderful coat. It's going to make me happy, and it's going to keep me warm. Made in the good old US of A. That's why it's called American Jack. American Jacket Company. Made, I believe, in the 80s, but intact, wonderful condition. I just stopped wearing it because the darn zipper broke, but I retained it. It's going to add a touch of class. Plus, I'm wearing on my feet sorrel packs. That's what you call these, the style of boot, pack. And if I'm chainsawing, I've got my cuffs on the outside so that the chainsaw svelte doesn't get inside. These are older. These are pre-owned. They were actually made in Canada and not China. And so that's what it is. Let's talk about my newest fascination. I go through these jigs. If I was doing a winter count, you know, sitting in here, I've got my buffalo hide. Now I'm gonna paint. I'm gonna decorate that for this year. It would be that I am now a horologist. I know, what an unfortunate name for those who are fascinated by mechanical watches. A horologist begins with an H. In the Latin roots, I'm not going to say the first part of that word, not in my teepee, even though it begins with an H. It means hour. So let's call it an hourologist. Now, purchases. Now, it turns out that a company, and I'm on the low end of the spectrum. I am, yes, invested in collecting pocket watches, but I'm fascinated by these things called dollar pocket watches. Back in the day, farmers and workmen and other such folks that didn't have gobs and gobs of money to spend on a gold pocket watch, a Waltham or a Hamilton or something like that, you get these things called dollar pocket watches. And this is, very proud of this little watch. And so far it's been off, I said it last night, it's off 30 seconds over a course of more than 12 hours. So it's accurate. And this is actually serviced. From eBay it said serviced and running strongly. Sets and winds, and it does. Ingersoll Yankee. Ingersoll wound up becoming, after a matter of bankruptcies and shifts in operations, Timex. I'm not going to see if it... Yep. Still ticking. It takes a licking and keeps on ticking. Pardon me for my raciness. But the Ingersoll Yankee was literally the first watch that a person could buy for $1. There's no jewels in the movements, and in the pins and knobs and such like that. Not knobs, I'm just joking here. Just metal on metal with no jewels. And when you see a watch that says 17 jewel movement or 21 or 15 or 7 or whatever, that means that literally those little pins are riding on jewels, real live mineralized objects. That minimizes the friction. Now it is said that if a farmer needed to service his pocket watch, you would just take the back off and dip it in lighter fluid or naphtha or something like that, sometimes maybe even gasoline, to clean it out, and then just shake it dry and you're ready to go. But yeah, the Ingersoll Yankee, one of the prized pocket watches in my collection, even beyond this Elgin that is a gold pocket watch that I spent, yes, too much money on, that also keeps good time. I like this because this represents the watch of the common man and woman. I need to throw that in there. A watch that you could literally buy for $1. Now this is not one of the, it is an original Ingersoll Yankee dollar pocket watch, but it's not the ones from the early years, the late 1890s that were $1. You probably paid more for this dollar pocket watch than $1, but it is the progeny of the original dollar pocket watch, the literal dollar pocket watch. In it, ticking along, wonderful little thing. I'm fascinated by this. It's not my oldest one. I have one made in the 1800s. And there's something about a little mechanism like this, it's well over 100 years, that keeps working. You wind it up, and it goes. And so that is that. Now, in other terms, I know that I've kind of thrown it in your face that I like to buy American-made products. Oh, look at that. I also purchased for $20, not even a new one, but a used Timex Weekender. And I like it. It's just a watch. You know, there's no complications. And complications for you newbie horologists, I can't say that without laughing. I mean, I have the heart of a 14-year-old boy here. But it's just no complications. It just has hour, minute, and second hand. This thing is amazing. For 20 bucks, 20 bucks. This has been keeping such good time that it's off about 1 second. I'm going to be generous, 2 seconds over the course of 3 days. Take that, you Rolex fanboys. Take that, you Patek Philippe fanboys. This is more accurate than yours. Now you might say, as a field watch, this isn't as rugged as a Seiko 805 or any of the other more expensive field watches. And field watches refer to the lineage of being a military watch, you know, good in the field, nice and strong. But, you know, really, I'm thinking as I'm chainsawing this, it was big. This big aspen tree came down on the trails, and it was quite a puzzle to remove this big, gnarly, giant, tangled in other trees, quaking aspen top without getting mashed. That's why I consider it a puzzle. You remove this, then this happens, and you remove this, then this happens. And throughout this puzzle, you don't get destroyed when a big piece of tree falls on you. I'm figuring that if this was to suffer an impact that would be great enough to break it, think about this. This is important. If you have a field watch that gets like blasted by something and it gets broken, I would say at that point you've got more to worry about than just your watch, because I can survive without being able to tell time to the nearest second, but it would be hard because of an impact to survive the destroyed arm. That's my thinking, you know. And if you're so worried about being in a high impact zone, do this trick. I can't do it because the band is too tight. Turn it to the inside of your wrist, so you're generally not going to slam into it. But aside from that, beautiful watch. 20 bucks. What did I pay for my Ingersoll Yankee that was serviced? Under 40. Under 40. Hey, it made it from between 1930 and 1935. You know, good, and it's keeping really good time. It'll probably make it another 100 years. Now, what I'm going to do is, in BTW, if you've got a pocket watch that's running, don't lay it on its back, because that gives you too much pressure on all the friction points on the bottom. Just, it's a game of inches. It's a game of millimeters. You have to, if it's running, support it vertically, and that'll keep the action running longer, just from wear. I purchased, this is like, you know, buying Christmas presents and stuff. It's like, why not? I'm going to buy myself some stuff. But I'm being reasonable. I didn't buy a Rolex. But Timex. I went back and it's like, how can I display these? And it's like, oh, why don't I get an old catalog page of pocket watches? And mine came from 1911. I purchased a page from a catalog on watches, out of the Sears catalog. And then I'm gonna adhere it to a piece of wood, put a frame around it, and then maybe actually search out antique brass hooks. You know, why not go all the way? And then hang the watches on this board that has the background of an old Sears catalog advertising pocket watches. Isn't that tricky? Even my wife said that was a cool idea. There's a lot of ideas I have that I think are cool, and I know they're really not when she says, no, that's kind of not cool. But that's about it. I have nothing more to say. Oh, one thing. I work outside in the winter. I spend a lot of time outside in the winter, and you know, I don't remember the last time I actually had a pair of gloves that kept my fingers warm. I might break down, because the maker of this fine hat also makes mittens. Mittens keep your hands warmer than gloves because your fingers are together, and so they share heat. Matching pair of mittens. And I will be très chic once I get my American Jack coat, my mittens going along with my hat, and my pocket watch, and my Timex. I use my Timex now to set my pocket watches. But that's all right. Have a good one. Thank you for watching.